All right, so we started with the 130 basic model, and I showed you by adding a 1 inch riser, working with a half of an inch height, clamped, a knife clamped a half of an inch above the jawline, that by adding the 1 inch riser, we gained a 1 inch lower adjustment range. So I'm able to sharpen my fine knives, my small knives at 1 inch, 1 degree lower range, approximately 14 degrees on this particular knife, which is only about a half of an inch clamped above the vise. So now I gained that extra adjustability before I needed to use the low angle adapter. Now, when I added this, it gave me the ability that I learned over time to expand this. And what I'm working on is, if you look at the wicked edge as compared to Hapstone or Gendy Jig or Edge Pro or all of those, they started as a single vise in the center. That vise lays sideways instead of standing vertically. It lays sideways, and you clamp the knife this way, and you sharpen one side, then flip it over and sharpen the other side. The advantage for the wicked edge is it clamps the knife vertically, allowing you access to both sides. But everything, the sharpening mechanics now became duplicated. So instead of sharpening like the Edge Pro, the Hapstone, where you sharpen horizontally, flip the knife, and then sharpen the other side horizontally. Now we're sharpening vertically, which allows us access to sharpen both sides of the knife simultaneously. Now, all the challenges that we have as wicked edge users, they have with their guided sharpener, Hapstone or Edge Pro or whatever, the adjustment, the forming a burr, all those different things, the low angle adjustment, the conflict, you can only get so close. They have all those same things. And if you go and you look at Gritomatic, where they're a big Hapstone dealer, and you look at what they're offering, they have all kinds of accessory clamps that they're offering today. Let me see what I can show you. You know, all kinds of accessory clamps like these, or bear with me, I'll be right back over there. There you go. Or clamps like these. And what they've done is they've made an array where they have these different clamps that lay, instead of the vise being centered, now they've duplicated and put their clamps on a rail system. And then when you sharpen the knife, you're supported by more than one clamp, and you flip it over and supported by more than one clamp. And those were the same challenges that I found. They augmented, accessorized the Hapstones and the Gendy Jig and the Edge Pro over the years, as I have. I made a similar sort of rail system. This is a single central clamp, so my thought was to support the clamp on either side, because as knives got longer and more flexible, they needed that extra. So that's where I came up with the riser block that I showed you, where that developed, that I learned by raising this. I had more effective, efficient use of the stones now, because the point where they started from was lower relative to the jawline. but that also gave me an 1 degree more low range adjustment. But with the riser block, then I saw an attachment point for the accessory clamping system that I've devised, and this simply fits in here on either side, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. I'm going to show you some clamping examples, but this is where this came from. In fact, this is even a longer one. This is an extended one that I want to show you. This is the standard. And this was my answer to what Hapstone did. Hapstone's, like I said, their clamps lay down. So then they started using these accessory clamps on a rail system, and they put them side by side, and they offered all sorts of cool innovations. Well, I'm sold on Wicked Edge. I didn't want to go to a different guided, fixed angle guided sharpening system that offered more clamps, because I liked this. I liked the way that I sharpened simultaneously, and I clamped the knife once, and I didn't work one side then the other, because that presents a challenge in itself, because you're sharpening on one side. Now you got to go and you got to sharpen on the other side and obliterate what you did on this side, and you're going back and forth, whereas Wicked Edge allowed me to do that without that moving. So I like the Wicked Edge, and I found the way to give me that little bit lower range, but now as I'm sharpening bigger knives at those ranges, I needed some support. So with the riser system, we devised the attachment point. It's like a receiver hitch on a car where the supports could be added. And that took the Wicked Edge single vise system and made it into a multi-vise supported system like the Hapstone, like the TSProf, like those other ones. So this isn't anything special. This isn't anything crazy. This isn't anything new. This is essentially doing the same sort of accessorization that's been done in the other systems. I'm just doing it with the single vise Wicked Edge system that allows you to sharpen your blades vertically and simultaneously. So it gave us all the support that they offered without their sharpening method challenging of flipping the blade from one side to the other. So now we're supported and sharpening both sides simultaneously. I'm going to go with this, and I'm going to show you some clamping options with this and how the Stabil-Rizer clamping system can be accessorized in itself, because there are different rail systems and you can work with double supports and things like that. So I am going to clamp some other knives in here. But first I wanted to show you the progression, how it started with just a single knife that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. And then I learned with the riser block, it helped me to achieve lower angle range that I was looking for. And then the next challenge was to be able to support a knife that had some length to it and some flexibility. And that's how the Stabil-Rizer came about. Thanks.